So thanks all for joining here. I'm probably the last techie person on earth because I'm an artist. My name is Annina Roescheisen. I'm a German multimedia artist, and my work is inspired of iconography, of literature, of poetry, German romanticism, medieval arts, but above all, I'm super intrigued of the observation, reflection of humans and their emotions. That's really where my drive is here to be here today as well. So through art and in person, I contributed to multiple social and philanthropic projects such as autism, social rights, human rights, homelessness, suicide, and the last topic, which deals with the topic of peace. So if you could slide on. So that's called #WhatBringsPeace, which is my current and latest project dealing with a pan-human quest of individual and global peace. So it consists of two main elements, this project, which is an itinerant sculpture, an interactive one, and interviews. So the sculpture is, no, you have to go back, sorry. Thank you. The sculpture is, as you see the title, #WhatBringsPeace, below and above the social media icons. In the middle, you can find a convex mirror. So for me, it's about the idea, on the one hand, that an individual has to reflect on themselves about peace, before going on a worldwide and global scale, as well as being in front of the installation. It always reflects another environment. So this project was launched a year ago and officially in February 2017 in Crans-Montana in the Swiss Alps. I was traveling for 6 months. I gave up my studio in New York and was traveling for the interviews to live with strangers for the last 6 months, as I said. And it's about, it goes beyond politics and it goes beyond social topics. It's really a project for me that is very linked to the human side of it. So the interviews are with famous and non-famous people to focus on how they grew up, where they come from, what their inner struggles are, what peace brings to them or what peace means to them on an individual but as well on a global scale. To go further, I'm going to switch a little bit so we have a little bit of more time. For me, I felt it a necessity as an artist to react to the current state of the world, which is hidden by ongoing wars, by political turmoil, by environmental threats, and by attacks. So I'm trying to use art as an emotional language in order to break down boundaries and to open up through the message of art, through a broader mass, through a broader audience, and open up in general to discuss to a more universal language. So there are a lot of interviews as well that are just music compositions or dance, because I believe that there is a true power in the universal language that is not limited by the word. This project has the social media aspect that I used, so the hashtag that I created, #WhatBringsPeace, in order to open up even more to the possibility of participation and to the possibility especially to engage young people, because they are the future of our world of tomorrow. I'm aware that we're in a tech talk today, but I really, and that's probably my point of view for this talk of today, I really want to focus on the human side of it. And in the encounter and in the conception of this project, I can state that there's nothing in my eyes that can truly, truly, truly replace a human interaction and a true human encounter. To understand the complexity and the depth of such a complex and complicated topic as peace, I want to share two things. On the one hand, there is Dr. Diana Francis, which is a peace activist and a famous book author, and I interviewed her in London, in Bath, and she shared with me during our interview, she was, Annina, you're gonna see it's way more easy to raise money for war than for peace. Well, I didn't do a project on war yet, and I hope I won't do one, but I can definitely say that peace is not linear and that peace is very complicated to attain. To understand more about the complexity, I want to share a short story. I participated in the global table in May of the BMW Foundation that was held in Bogota. So as you know, Bogota is one of the regions that struggles with post-conflict problems and a peace-building process. So the conference was about truth, responsibility, and reconciliation in post-conflict societies and for post-conflict authorities. It made me understand how difficult it is, on the one hand, governments and institutions that tend to objectify and that have like a big tension in order to dialogue with the local actors and with the individuals, whereas you have to understand a peace process before even finding solutions. You have to understand it by the individual, by case. So if I ask all of you here in the room, what brings peace to you? What do you do on a daily basis to have peace inside of you? I don't know if there's anybody who would tell me today that he's fully in peace. I'm going to be very honest and very authentic, because that's why I'm probably driven to humans and their emotions. If you start a project like What Brings Peace, you're definitely not going to ask this question just to the world or just to your friends. You're going to ask it to yourself as well. So I have experienced a lot of complicated situations in my life, from alcoholism of my father, morbid mother, violence, child abuse, and it goes on. But I think it's a necessity to understand and to go beyond the virtual world to truly understand in a true human encounter the complexity even of individuals and of humans. So if we go on, there is somebody that I would like to point out that I met, his name is Jean-Claude Carrière. He's a famous French screenwriter and book author who published a lot of books with the Dalai Lama. And he states in his current book called La Paix, Peace, the question of, are we humans nowadays truly ready for peace? What are we able and what do we want to engage to give up a little bit of our egos in order to truly go towards a peace-building process? And I think it kind of allies with the question of yourself as an individual, to truly ask you, what do you do to be in peace with yourself? And what do you do on a daily basis to be in peace with your surrounding already? To go back into the title of Virtue and Vice, I think it's like the virtue of social media. I definitely see it in gaining visibility, promotion, gatherings, to announce gatherings, but I can't really support the idea that social media can replace a true human encounter. If, for example, you look at after attacks, social media floods, I almost feel that sometimes it's a kind of a way to wash away your guilt that you have in order to show solidarity or compassion. I'm not saying that you're not suffering from the crisis that you see and that you want to give something of it, but that peace, that doesn't happen on social media. I would like to go into another perspective, which is a human encounter that I did during an interview. She's a French life coach and spiritual healer. Her name is Serafia Malianza. And she wrote text on peace and love. So peace is an energy, love is an energy. And I would like to read what she said. Peace at a spiritual level is part of our universe, like love. There are two frequencies, very, very close, which are not really identical, but more like sisters. At a spiritual level, it is like an ingredient of the universe, a fundamental ingredient of our universe. If you're familiar with Einstein's love letters, he states after his death, he wrote letters to his daughter, where he states that the non-evaluable fact in his relativity theory is love. So if love is equal with peace, I question you, is there any peace and love truly in the virtual world? Is there peace and love on social media? Or do you find that peace and love while sitting next to your neighbor, while speaking with your friends, while reflecting of yourself? I truly think peace is something that has to be engaged simultaneously from your inner state and from an outer state. And I want to open this short talk to any questions, and I hope you're going to reflect beyond the tech and beyond the social and beyond the political world on what we humans truly are, because the thing that links us all in this world is our emotions, and it is a fact that everybody of us fears, that everybody of us loves, and that everybody of us laughs and suffers. Thank you very much.
Cool. I would definitely take up the call for questions. Has anyone got a question? We've got a microphone we're going to throw at you. Questions? No? Okay, I've got one then. In terms of being honest with yourself and your own like battles and tribulations, how have you had practical experiences or something like this? That's something I always struggle with, like this.
In what kind of way, practical?
Self-honesty. I guess in a day-to-day life, like this crossing of the professional to human barrier.
I think you have to. If you truly want to understand who you are and trying, I mean, identity is a big word in our society nowadays. But if you truly try to understand your functioning, you have to start reflect on yourself. And you can't put yourself into a victim position and always giving and pointing the fault on anybody else. That's the thing that happens a lot in politics. But there's this nice saying in German, you have to take yourself on your own nose before pointing the finger on somebody else. And I truly think that it has a lot of truth in it. But I definitely think you have to work in that coherence simultaneously, because you always reflect with the other, you always vibrate in a bigger environment and in a bigger relationship. So,
have you seen transformation in that kind of way? I'm assuming you have. Do you have stories of transformation? Have you seen these changes occur within your art and your work and your professional life?
Definitely a lot. Because if you go beyond traumas and if you go to really clean up whatever kind of life experiences you have in order to truly understand the notion of what even love means to us. I think it's such a big word and everybody says very fast, I love you, but what does love really mean? How does love, the word of love or peace, how does it transform in the years of growing up? You always get other angles and other perspectives on it, and you go more into depth. And I can definitely say through my art, probably as an artist, I think artists have to be generous in order to truly share who they are or what they feel. And your story can be my story, can be the story of anybody else here. But I think that's the mirroring part of society and of us being a little part of the whole world. So, yeah.
Does anyone have a question? Because I have. Okay, we have two. Just down the front. Oh, okay, over there. Sorry, we'll come to you second.
I'm Brunhilde. I would like to know a little bit more about your art. How can we see your art?
You can go on my website. It's anninaroescheisen.com. Okay. So you're gonna see a lot of video art, a lot of photography and sculptures. And as I'm fascinated by medieval arts, because I truly think I studied political philosophy as well, and even by going into these huge keywords of humanity, generosity, love, peace, there are so many different aspects in there. And what I try to do is like a kind of a way of painting in motion, like medieval paintings, where you had to decode. And depending on your state of your inner feelings and your inner mindset, you're gonna experience another story. So you're gonna watch that video probably 5 times, and I hope every time, depending on which character you're gonna follow, you're gonna discover something else.
How beautiful. I loved your speech, but I would like to know your art.
I'm a little bit nervous, so I'm very sorry, but I'm just an artist. So.
Cool. We just have one last question down here. You can throw it back to me if you
want. If you go even on the What Brings Peace page on the end, there's a link to my website as well. So even if you go through the What Brings Peace page, you're going to find links to my website as well.
Cool. And then one last question.
Hi, thank you for standing up there, even though it's nerve-wracking, I'm sure. So I wanted to, you mentioned something about how translating love and peace in like the digital space is very challenging. And then you also talked about being openly honest, accountable. And I know that in like a social media space, Facebook has been trying to push people to be more honest about themselves and things. And I'm just curious, I mean, I also find it difficult to translate anything but anxiety in a social space. And if you have any, have tried it, experimented, or had any good results in trying to translate this message or connectivity to peace and love through a digital platform.
I think it's for me, the usage of the hashtag was definitely for people to share their opinions and to be able to open up a dialogue, which means you use the hashtag what brings peace, and you can post anything. You can post a photo, what brings peace to you today, what you think could bring peace to the world, and everything is resourced, and either you can find it on the website or on the social media. And I'm currently trying to collaborate more with universities. So. But there is still, I think on the one hand, there are probably two different sorts of people. One that have the need to share all their sufferings on social media. And on the other hand, people who try to pretend to be something that they are not. So there's like this whole gap between this illusionary world and a lot of suffering. But I think it's still difficult to truly find the time. So it kind of relates to the talk that we heard before. But I think people nowadays, they don't take the time to read. And I tried it when you do like a post of like a beautiful girl somewhere shot in Namibia, and you write a text which is actually pretty sad. Sometimes you're going to be shocked in what kind of diversity the answers go with an image, because people don't read. They just either read or either look at a photo. But I think the problem of social media today is really that nobody really takes time, and the true engagement is not on social media in my eyes. It's really good to gather or to gain visibility and to promote things for people coming together. But after traveling 6 months and staying, I did like 60 interviews with a lot of different people. I was in Europe, in Indonesia, Colombia, UK, big parts of the US. I can definitely say that no true human encounter that I had with those people, just sitting with strangers, and they were very open to share their sufferings and their stories. And something like this I never experienced on social media.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, we do have time for one last question if anyone's got one. Burning question? Nope. Okay.
Lorenzo wants to ask something.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so what's for you the concept of authenticity right now through social media and actually for being an artist nowadays? What's the concept? Yeah.
I think you don't have to have a concept. I think authenticity is created if you don't intend and if you don't control, if you're just in the moment of giving, and especially as an artist, from the moment you created a piece and it's done, it doesn't belong to me anymore. So from the moment I put it out to the public, I don't have no intention on it. It does whatever it is supposed to do. You're gonna feel joy with it. Another person has probably tears in their eyes, but that's the beauty of it. And I think that's where authenticity lies, to have the strength to not to let go of control, actually.
Cool. Thank you. You also see this a lot in technology as well.
I don't know. I was like, I really thought it's going to be complicated for me here because I'm the less techie person on earth.
This is a melting pot.
But thank you for having me.
All right, big round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thanks.